Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're diving into a story where a simple morning chore, well, it ends up becoming this really profound lesson in dreams, class, and yeah, even heartbreak. We're going to sink our teeth into N.V.M. Gonzales's classic, The Bread of Salt.
So how can a simple piece of bread tell a story about all that? About dreams, class, and heartbreak? Well, that's pretty much the central question of the story. We're going to unpack all the rich symbolism in this incredible coming-of-age tale. And you'll see how this ordinary breakfast staple becomes this powerful metaphor for a young boy's journey, from these innocent, sweet dreams to the harsh, salty taste of reality.
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to meet our narrator. He's a 14-year-old kid, and his world, at least when the story starts, begins every single morning with a simple, familiar errand for his grandmother. And what's so interesting is that the story opens not with some big action, but with a question, a mystery really. The narrator isn't just going out to buy breakfast. He's this young thinker who's genuinely pondering the very essence of this food, the pan de sal. You know, that curiosity? It immediately tells us we're dealing with a mind that's searching for something deeper in the world.
And I mean, just look at how he describes it. He doesn't just see food. He sees something human-like, something with real character. That last line, a pair of lips convulsed into a painful frown, wow, that's just so striking, right? It's basically foreshadowing, right, from the get-go that this bread is carrying a whole story of hardship and struggle that's literally baked right into it.
So, this everyday bread, it becomes the backdrop for a world that's really built on two incredibly powerful forces in this kid's life. This soaring passion he has for music and, you guessed it, the first pangs of that idealized perfect love. And for our narrator, these two worlds, Aida and his violin, they're completely tangled up together. Aida, she represents this life of grace and wealth, a life he can really only see from a distance. So the violin, it's not just an instrument for making music. No, for him, it's the magical key. It's the thing that's going to make him worthy of her, the thing that will finally unlock the door to what he sees as Aida's castle.
And listen, his dreams aren't just, regular dreams. They are fantastically grand. We're talking pure cinematic fantasies. In his head, he's not just some local kid playing the violin. Oh no, he's a world-renowned genius. And of course, who's right there in the front row? Aida. She's always there, his perfect, adoring audience, clapping for him. But as his dreams are soaring to these incredible heights, the sobering force of reality just keeps pulling him back down to earth. It's this constant reminder of the invisible but very, very real walls that separate his world from hers. And this stinging dose of reality, it comes from his own aunt. Her words just cut right through his romantic vision. It's this absolutely brutal reminder that for a lot of people, music isn't about art or passion, it's about social standing. She just bluntly puts musicians right at the bottom of the social ladder. Yeah, her words create this brutal image in his head. Musicians are like a pack of dogs scrambling for scraps. I mean, that is just a devastating contrast to his dream of being this celebrated artist, right? It completely reframes his ambition into something pathetic, almost animalistic.
So the gap between their worlds is just immense. And it's not just about money, It's about heritage, how people see you, the whole structure of their lives. He lives in the world of daily work, of local bakeries. She lives in a world of grand parties and inherited status. They're just worlds apart.
So, all these tensions, his romantic dreams, his unrequited love, this deep-seated social anxiety he has, it's all about to collide at one single fateful event, a surprise party at Aida's house.
And he walks in, and he's stepping into the very world he has only ever dreamed of. The whole scene is overwhelming. It's the sensory overload that confirms all his fantasies. You've got the glimmering silver, the chandeliers, Aida looking like a princess in a white gown. For a second, it must have felt like his dream was finally within reach. But it's right here, surrounded by all this unimaginable abundance, that the beautiful illusion just shatters. It happens in a single moment of profound and completely unforgettable humiliation. So he and the other band members are finally told they can eat. Last, exactly like his aunt predicted. And he's just overwhelmed. He feels his place among the hired help, and he acts out of this boyish, almost desperate desire to take just a little piece of this opulent world home with him. And then, the moment of impact. Ida shows up, and her question is so simple, it's actually kind. But for him, caught red-handed with sweets stuffed under his shirt, it lands with the force of an accusation. He's been seen, not as the genius violinist from his dreams, but as a poor boy sneaking food.
And in that one moment, the intense shame just completely erases years of this idealized love he'd built up. The fantasy, it just can't survive the harsh light of reality. The ardor, that passion he felt, it was for a dream, and that dream has just, poof, evaporated.
So he leaves that party, and he doesn't have a package of sweets from Ida. Instead, what he has is a harsh new understanding of himself, of his place in the world, and what his dreams were really all about.
This next part is so symbolic. He doesn't just throw away the sweets. No, he's casting off the sweetness of his childish illusions. He throws them into the dark reality of the sea. It's this final cleansing rejection of the whole fantasy he'd been living in.
Okay, so this brings us completely full circle. Remember at the very beginning of the story? He'd be jingling those 15 centavos his grandmother gave him to go buy the morning bread. It was a kid's allowance for running an errand.
But now, after earning his own money with his violin, after facing this absolutely crushing humiliation, he goes back to the bakery. But this time, he's not standing there as a boy on an errand. He's a young man, and he wants to buy his own food with money he earned. It's this massive shift towards self-reliance.
And the story ends right there, in that moment of waiting. He has to wait, in the real warmth of the bakery oven, for the bread of his new reality to finish baking. It tells us that his coming of age isn't some sudden flash. It's a process, and it's not quite done yet.
So, in the end, the story answers its own opening question. The bread of salt, it's a symbol for this whole dual experience. It's the comforting warmth of those sweet, innocent dreams, but it's also seasoned with the salt of tears, the salt of shame, and the salt of those harsh but totally necessary experiences that force us all to grow up.
And that's really the core of it all. He lost the sweet illusion of his dream, sure, but he's about to taste the bread of his own making, bread that was earned through real, salty experience. This story leaves us with this question that kind of sticks with you. When does the taste of reality actually become more nourishing than the sweetness of a dream? Something to think about. Thanks for joining this explainer.